Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 3 of Hopium Slayer with Sir Escanor. Today, we're going to talk about why they would wake us up. Now, let's just get something painfully clear. They did not wake us up. They initiated us. And not with lies, but with the truth. I like to think of the truth as, colors. And we can all take a canvas and paint our own truths. Just like somebody else can take those same colors and paint a totally different picture altogether. Nobody's necessarily lying, but where are your intentions? So, who's that first Promethean being that gave us our minds, our consciousness, our first red pill? Did the serpent deceive us in the garden by lying to us or by telling us the truth? These are important questions to consider when talking about how the truth can be weaponized to ensnare our minds, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into 2 episodes. This first one will be about the programming aspect behind the awakening and truth. And the second part will be more about the occult concept and genesis of the idea of the Great Awakening. And these two concepts are kind of like 2 hemispheres of the same control mechanism used by the elites, using truth as not only as a hammer, but also as an entry point into our hearts. This what makes it doubly dangerous, right? There's 2 things I like to point out before we start. One, who is the target audience of fake news and psyops? Most people would argue that it's normies. But today we're going to take it a step further and try to show you how critical thinkers are the actual targets of these psychological operations. And if you really do think we are going through a great awakening, I just want you to go look at the bios in any one of my social media platforms and read it. This line will hold true throughout this whole segment. How could we be going through a great awakening if everybody's retarded? So welcome to Hopium Slayer. Let's have some fun. All right, guys. So before we get into the main thread or topic of the day, I'm just going to go over some interesting posts. I made an interesting post about the whole Candace Owens interviewing the sexual predator Harvey Weinstein. And we'll get into that. And then we'll try to have a couple laughs and then follow through with how I use the tools and information I shared with you in episode 1 and 2 to break down a psyop in real time, which is this whole give, send, go crap that has been going on, especially X in the last couple of weeks, right? It started with that whole Anthony Carmelo fiasco. But anyways, we'll get into that. But first things first, today we're talking about, why they would wake us up. And I think this post I made about that whole Harvey Weinstein will clarify one element of why they do this, right? So, Candace Owens is whitewashing fucking Harvey Weinstein. Like, on what planet are we on? And what's interesting is that, you got to consider, is this in Candace's natural behavior to defend Zionists who have impregnated the minds of the West with Israeli propaganda? How long has she been doing this? Is Harvey Weinstein the first? The answer is no. She's been doing this for fucking ever. And proof of that is Morton Klein and Mark Levinson, which are 2 evil motherfuckers who swooped her up right after graduation. You should look into that. So, Harvey Weinstein, I doubt she asked Harvey why it is said that he seems to have mutilated genitals and no testicles. If you look at the case files for the Jessica Mann case. Jessica Mann. Just think of that for 1 second. It says right here, read that. He has extreme scarring that I didn't know if maybe he was a burn victim. He does not have testicles, and it appears like he has a vagina. We're talking about Harvey Weinstein here, right? I mean, look at it this way. Isn't it kind of weird how does a man who has what is described as a vagina actually violate a woman who is interestingly named man? I mean, this guy has more victims than we've gone days without arrest through the whole Epstein fiasco. What's going on here? How does this guy have so many victims if he has a vagina? To me, it's almost like the entire narrative is orchestrated. A big charade exposing the truth, but within the confines of a controlled Overton window. Masonic theater, right? And they use the shield of the abused to defend and perpetuate the lie. So this is what, as crazy as what I just said is that Harvey Weinstein has a burned vagina, right? It's not the only case, especially when we're talking about high profile violators. Let's look at Epstein. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the time where he got, just check out this video I put together. And
do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Could you please give us your name?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis?
Form, vague, indefinite, and this type of question I will adjourn to deposition immediately.
Sir, according to the police department's probable cause affidavit, one witness described your penis as oval-shaped and claimed when erect it was thick towards the bottom, but was thin and small towards the head portion, and called it egg-shaped. Those are not my words, I apologize. But as Mr.
Now adjourn.
As Mr. Creighton has stated, that this is a... I'm willing to continue. Egg-shaped penis? Egg-shaped penis?
Egg-shaped penis?
Is an egg-shaped penis?
right. So, how do two guys that have more victims than some countries not have a dick, or at least are extremely deformed? That's something you guys are going to have to think about on your own. And we'll circle back to this subject in a later episode, but reality is much the fuck stranger than fiction, guys. So, next, let's see what I have in store. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, Trump's Golden Dome. Not to be confused with, the Dome of the Rock, the Iron Dome, or your neighbor's backyard pizza oven. We're talking Golden Dawn, Golden Dome, more Golden Age. Programming, right? I can't wait to see how much this fucking thing is going to cost. And I can't wait to see who's going to build it. Oh, great. It's going to be Palantir with Raytheon, with Musk, Microsoft, Oracle, in conjunction with the military fucking industrial complex. Great. This is going to be awesome, guys. Now, the question of cost is really irrelevant when, for me, the most important question will be is, how long do you think it'll take people to realize that you don't need a missile shield defense system when the enemy's already inside your gates, building the system with you cheering them on? What are the odds this thing, does something like this already exist? is a question. 2, are they upgrading something that's already there? 3, are they building something new? Are they going to, throw some nanos into the atmosphere that are going to be able to watch us tie our shoes? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. One way or another, I guarantee you that this shit ain't saving us from no Jewish space lasers. That I could tell you right the fuck now. But why does it not matter? I'll tell you. Because when you control the protagonist, the antagonist, when you control the defense and the attacks, it doesn't matter if this fucking system exists or not. They control the whole play. It's all a lie. So what they're doing now is they're letting us know that they will have this golden dome defense system, right? There's a reason why they're letting us know that. And I'm assuming it's because there will be an orchestrated attack. Now, whether that'll be, within a political mainstream reality of Iran, Russia, China kind of thing, or if it'll be an extra terrestrial out there kind of threat to help lull us under the same banner, as we have an exterior enemy to focus on, or maybe both at the same time. I don't know. But they've given us the mechanism to consolidate this pseudo attack that may or may not happen. All right. So this whole thing is a sham, and it will not end well, one way or another. Oh yes, Kash Patel and Bondi. What's the other asshole's name? What's his name? Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is gonna save children that are being trafficked. Dan Bongino couldn't stop $65,000 worth of hot dogs from going under his nose while he was the security detail for Obama. I don't want to hear nothing about this guy saving any children. When they asked him what are his thoughts on Israel, you know what this guy answered? He answered, endearing to my heart. Motherfucker, endearing to your heart? Who the fuck answers that? Dude, unless you're asking me about my mother, I'm not saying endearing to my heart for any fucking country, especially a foreign one. Like, this is all, fantastical thinking, but let's have a little laugh. I took their little bullshit speech they had and I fixed it for you guys, and we'll talk a little bit about Bondi after we watch this.
Our children. If you harm our children, you will be given no sanctuary. There is no place we will not come to hunt you down. There is no place we will not look for you. And there is no cage we will not put you in should you do harm to our children. The prioritization of this administration and General Bondi has made it abundantly clear to child predators, you will be hunted down and you will be prosecuted. And that is a refreshing thing to hear for the men and women who do this work tirelessly. And it's also an acknowledgement of the safety that we look forward to bringing America. Our children, if you harm...
Some bullshit, basically. This guy's not doing fuck all. Pam Bondi already helped get fucking Epstein off with a slap on the wrist already. Pretty much at the same time that she took a check of, I want to say $45,000 from Donald J. Trump, and his whole Trump University fiasco mysteriously disappeared then too, right? The whole thing in Florida. It's all a mess, guys. They're all scratching each other's backs and perpetuating a lie. And like I said in episode 2, they're using the trauma, the demoralization, the occasional waving of hope as a conditioning method to impregnate our minds individually and collectively for brainwashing. That's what the fuck these guys are doing. And Pam Bondi, human scum of a human being, she took over $200,000, paid directly from Pfizer as little as last year, 2024. She got paid $200,000 to be their liaison and to help them navigate the political spectrum, whatever the fuck that even means, which to me means they give her $200,000 to make sure that everything will be good. They're not going to get heat. They could continue fucking the world and doubling down on the mRNA trillions that Donald gave them all through Operation Stargate, right? So this whole thing's a shit show. All of them were involved. It's all the same thing, guys, over and over. This is a good meme, right? It's a long story short. What's going on in America? This is what's going on in America, guys. But a long story short. And sure, I could have added, some Jesuits, could have added some Knights of Malta, some Teutonic Knights, maybe some Vatican, maybe some this and that, but it's all the same shit, different toilet. It's really, I don't, as I've mentioned many times, I don't waste my breath and especially not my time trying to figure out what the devil's preferred fucking adjectives are. Like I give two fucks. They're all garbage. All of them. If it's not shit, it's diarrhea. I'm not eating any of it. I'm throwing it all flushing it all down the toilet. That's my philosophy about all these factions, right? So, all right. So now we're going to talk about the main scam that psyop, that I was able to instantly see through, right? And I did this using what I believe I shared with you guys in episode 1 and 2, the blame game and then save the children. And what I'm going to attempt to do now is I'm going to give you an overview of what happened. And then I'm going to tell you in real time how I approached the situation. The reason why I'm going to do this is because, I'm hoping that it will instill inside of you guys the courage to come out fucking guns blazing, guys. Like, this is all fucking bullshit. Because half of the world, if not more, is going to hate you for speaking truth. You have to have the courage to do so. And, and as I explain it to you, you'll see, you'll pick up on a couple of things. And obviously I shoot first because I've been doing this a long time and I have a feel for it at this point, right? But so Shiloh, May 2nd, Shiloh, whatever the fuck her name is. This was the first post I made, but I made 3 posts on this the first day. But I want to say something. I made the first post. Before I launched the first post, I already had more information. I knew that this first post would piss the living shit out of anybody. Because, in all honesty, it's not necessarily enough to condemn anybody. And what the first thing I picked off was the name. Fucking Shiloh. The fuck kind of name is that? It's a Hebrew name. This doesn't help. And by the way, the first thing out of my mouth when it came to the Shiloh thing was this entire operation is being orbited exclusively by Jays and or Perros. That's specifically the words I used, and I'm going to show you guys how I was dead right from the first fucking words out of my mouth. So the first clue was this whole Shiloh. The name doesn't help. And it doesn't help that on more or less this timeline of May, I don't know how many years ago, I can't remember, there was the Battle of Shiloh, right? Which was a whole battle where Christians got massacred. Like, this whole thing reeks of ritual to me already. Just with these 2 pieces of information, I'm like, my confidence is at least 80% this is all bullshit. But I'll tell you what sealed the deal for me, right? It was 2 things, or a sequence of things, I'll say, right? And keep in mind, everything I've said from the beginning of this whole Shiloh thing up until I finish this part, I knew before writing my first post. I want to keep that predominant in your mind. And why that's important is because one of my philosophies when I expose people or when I go after a psyop is never use your silver bullets first. If you make a post that is, let's just say, less rock solid, it will give the lemmings and the losers the courage to come at you. And it will, your audience, your reach will instantly grow out of their willingness to shut you down. If you give them that silver bullet, that willingness dies along with it, right? Like the whole lie dies instantly, and they're not going to have the balls to come out, and therefore your impact will be less. That's really what it boils down to. So within an hour of this whole fucking shit show, there's the Shiloh Hendrix crypto fucking point that came out, right? And what do we see that happen? So I looked, how did the story get seeded? Well, interestingly enough, this motherfucker right here, Tiziant, whatever the fuck his name is, this dude seeded the story. I have some screenshots here of searches I made on his profile. This guy is a degen scum, rape endorsing predator with tendencies to children. And no word of a fucking lie just came out of my mouth. Read this motherfucker's tweet. This guy's a scumbag. So we have a weird fucking scumbag. Could be Jay or not, I'm not sure. But we have definitely a pedo scumbag who seeded the story. Then she gets doxxed. She got doxxed, dude, by Morgan J. Freeman, the King Jew, doxxed her. And another interesting aspect of this whole shit show is that the cameraman who filmed her at the playground is an alleged pedophile as well. And he's a content creator. So why is there a content creator pedophile at a playground with children who just so happens to record this white trash pagan queen who gets famous for, having the courage to call a 5-year-old kid the N-word or a 10-year-old, wherever the fuck age that kid is. Listen, I don't know where you guys come from, but calling a 10-year-old kid anything is not the fuck courageous and doesn't deserve your fucking money. Okay, guys? It's all bullshit. So let's recapitulate. Shiloh comes out. Her name's Jew. Crypto bullshit Shiloh dollar comes out. The story is seeded by pedos. A pedo recorded her, and a J, likely fucking pedo, doxed her. How fucking interesting is that? Everybody orbiting the story's inception is, like I said, a J and or a pedo. What sealed the deal for me, though, this is when my balls grew and I was able to say, fuck everybody, I'm going to go against the world. I know this is bullshit. When subsequently, after she got doxxed, the usual master noticers pushed the give, send, go grift. And that was Sam Parker, this Asian Korean K-pop hairless two-pack wannabe faggot, and his long-nosed girlfriend, whose real last name is Coleman, by the way, as well as Lucas Gage, which is a total coward loser. And I'm going to show, it'll be the next couple of slides, but this guy, I ripped him a bit. So at this point, I was confident to say, look, this is all fucking bullshit. So I knew all of this information going in when I made this initial post. I got like 700,000 in views, right? Which is a little bit less than what this fucking grift made. They made 800,000 scamming, these white nationalists, men, Christian men. What a sham Christian, the pagan queen. Anyways. So at this point, I was confident that this whole fucking thing is bullshit. So I started firing more bullets. I fired maybe 10 bullets. 9 of them have hit. Only one thing that I mentioned about Shiloh is yet to be unconfirmed, and that's her association to that other famous account who works for Elon. What's his name? Jimi Hendrix, I think. And why it's unconfirmed is that even though I got a lot of heat for this, but I have 4 DMs because I send people to talk to this guy to get information. I have 4 people writing to him DMs saying if he's by any means family or associated to Shiloh. And he only answered one of them directly and said no. The other ones, he kind of left it open-ended, which why would you do that? This whole thing stinks. Long story short. So we'll go into the next phase. And at this point, I said, guys, this is a give, send, go shit show. I go, what's going to happen next? Now we had the blacks and the whites. Now we have the whites and the blacks. I go, what's next? The Jews and the Arabs? And then we might have an Asian grift. Because I see the pattern going already. I see where this is going before the next phase has even started. And I'm sure you guys can see it too, because this is obviously how the fuck they always work, right? So what happens next? This happens next. Portnoy has his own give, send, go psyop, where some dude in Portnoy's club was waving that sign that said F the Jays, right? And I'm sure you guys saw it because it went all over the news, the fuck everywhere. But while this is happening, while this third psyop give, send, go in a row happens, how crazy people are, right? I expose Portnoy. I've exposed here that since at least 2011, he's been open with his pedo-like tendencies, for lack of better words, right? In 2011, he made some remarks about Brady's naked son's penis being big. Keep in mind that the boy is, I believe, 18 or 20 months old at this time. And there's by no means am I defending Brady or his witch fucking Lilith of a wife, which I've made a thread on them, which is chaos. But this guy's talking about a 18-year-old kid's penis. So this guy's a pure, this guy's made his living through lying, through gaslighting, race baiting, and then through gambling and selling alcohol to kids partying. This is what this guy's life is about. And what's amazing, people were so pissed off about what I was saying about Shiloh that when I exposed Portnoy, obviously all the noticers loved the fact that I figured out that he's been a pedo for fucking a long time. So they all took my post, took out the context of how I said it's attached to Shiloh, and cropped out my name to attack him with it. All while calling me an asshole. The same guys calling me an asshole and saying that I'm full of shit are using my content, removing a layer of complexity to it, and using it to solidify that everything is real and that Shiloh deserves our money. This is how mentally deranged people are, right? So, where are we? Next. So that, the whole Portnoy con thing. Look how I busted this one open too, right? And I got help from this account, Morgan C. She's pretty cool. She figured out that Con, and if you go on my profile and you write Con in the search, you'll see all this, right? Con, his LinkedIn profile showed where he worked and where he did his internships at. This information has now been scrubbed. I want to be clear with that piece of information, because if it doesn't matter, why the fuck did they scrub it now after it's been exposed by myself and Morgan? So to give you a long story short, that Khan character, Khan Cohen, the Arab who happened to walk into a club owned by a Jew with a giant sign that wrote F the Jews, and nobody was the wiser. Yeah, right. Good luck with that shit. This guy, not only does he work for the usual BlackRock-backed, Vanguard-backed garbage entities, but he did many years internship at Playfly Sports. Why does this even matter? Because that's the exact fucking company that brokered Barstool Arizona's Bulls deal. Basically, Barstool is Portnoy's company. They have events. Playfly has sponsored many of them. They are directly associated with Portnoy. And Khan just so happened to have interned there. And once it was exposed, went into his fucking LinkedIn account and wiped it clean. So you guys could do what you want with this information as well. And look, shockingly enough, here's Sam Parker again. Boom. The give, send, go master asking us to send money to Mr. Khan. It's the exact same, guys, the exact same shit happened with Portnoy as happened with Shiloh. The same motherfuckers. Jays, pedos, and then the same supposed master noticers that are endorsing the grift of give, send, go. And it goes a level further than all this, right? Because, before I say that, Lucas Gage, excuse me, this faggot, I'll say it like that straight. He made he blocked me out. They all blocked me. I called them all out. I wrote their names, their handles, and I called them all out. I said, these motherfuckers are all lying to you. Everybody I just mentioned, I called them all out. Not a single one has the balls to respond to me. The only one who's ever responded to me was Stupiders, and it didn't fucking end well for him either. So Lucas Gage made a whole 10-minute fucking video, which I'm not going to play because I'll fucking shoot myself listening to this clown. He made an 8-minute video philosophizing how because she used the N-word and we could rally behind this movement, we should take this whole thing at face value and support her. This motherfucker made a philosophical conversation about taking something superficially and optically and running with it. He's basically telling you to be a fucking moron. That's pretty much what this guy told you, and people are running with it. I wasted him. When I tell you I wasted him, not only did I waste him, but I called him a coward because he made a video talking about me. He made 3 posts talking about me, never had the balls to tag me, mention my name or nothing. He left it like like I'm some anonymous fucking account, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, total fucking faggot. Don't listen to this clown. Total loser. Shilling Stew's fucking J-proof crypto. He was, centered to the whole swatting thing, which the whole swatting psyop is basically this race baiting, give, send, go psyop 1.0. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same situation. Pedos, Jews, grifting, lies. It's the same thing that's just replicated under a different lens. And people are giving me shit. People are running with their credit, with their checkbooks open to send money to these people. And they have the audacity to say that what I'm presenting, then they call me they start slandering me for presenting all this information. Well, typical. In this line of work, I guess it's typical, right? Not that we do this for work, but as I can't stand this fucking guy. Next. Yeah, so here's where I call them all out, right? I'll show you another interesting connection. So, this girl right here, Anglo-Saxon girl, she just changed her whole account look and everything because she got wasted for this. She's the one, she blocked me, obviously, because I ripped her too. She's the one that supposedly verified Shiloh's authenticity by asking her to write NIG on a piece of paper and DMing it to her. Like, this somehow proves to the world that we are to trust Shiloh for whatever the fuck reasons, guys. And what's interesting to know about this account is that it's a woman, white nationalist. However, and it's a huge however, the ethos of a white nationalist is very, very simple. Mein Kampf says this straight out. Doesn't matter what I believe, doesn't matter what you believe. I just want to point that out as well. She's a white nationalist. This is what she should believe. And I'll tell you what she's doing, which is contrary to the whole movement. She's basically spends her whole time on the internet belittling white men, talking shit about white men, telling women that they should speak up, that they should be feminist, that they should dress slutty, that they should dress with makeup. Personally, I don't care about any of these things. But feminism is strictly forbidden within any white nationalist anything, as Mein Kampf says. Because feminism is a product of Jewry, and everybody knows that. So why is this account verifying Shiloh's authenticity by just making her write some bullshit slur word on a fucking piece of paper like it means anything? And two, why is her agenda to target white men and especially white nationalist leaders like some in Australia? She's purposely demeaning and slandering men who have went to jail to protect white nationalism in Australia. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you think. You could hate white nationalists, you could love them. It really doesn't matter what you think. I'm telling you, this person proclaims to be this, yet their actions are completely contrary to anything that should encompass this view. It's all a lie. There's also another interesting thing is that this guy, Tom Hennessy, should I show you this guy? He blocked me for sure, yeah. Tom Hennessy and this asshole, BIPOC racism, blocked me for sure, yeah. So all of these guys, they are the I guess the subsequent big accounts that are pushing the Shiloh Give Send Go endorsement. This guy got something like 25 million views on his post about Shiloh and getting her money. What's interesting is that this account is run by Tom Hennessy and by the next character in this shit show of Give Send Go, psyops. So the next phase, what happens next, guys? I foresaw, or at least I'll say, I said, look, I saw Anthony Carmelo followed by Shiloh bullshit. And I said, look, guys, next we're going to have the Arabs and the Jews, which I pulled off, was right with Porno and Khan. And then I said, we'll get an Asian fucking grift or something, right? That's what I figured was missing, or maybe like a Asian mixed or something. But I should have known better because the Jays are greedy and they double dipped. So this asshole right here, this little piece of crap, he had his own little racist encounter where he started calling some guy the N-word for, I don't even know what. I didn't watch the video. I don't know the fuck. Okay. This guy's name is Avi Rachlin. Avi Rachlin. Okay. That's his fucking name. This guy was pushed by all of these accounts as well, that I just talked about. Anglo-Saxon girl, who can't speak English, by the way, and who's a master noticer, but doesn't notice that the name fucking Avi Rachlin sounds J as fuck. Tom Hennessy didn't realize that. Or the truth is, Tom Hennessy knew he was a J, but still considered him a white. He allowed a J to subvert the white national movement. And what's interesting is that this guy, Avi Rachlin, runs this account with Tom Hennessy. Why does this fucking matter in any way, shape, or form? Two reasons it matters. One, this piece of shit right here, Avi Rachlin, which you can see here here's all the proof that he's not only pushed by these guys, but they knew that he was a J. Well, you'll see, look, he says it himself right here. Right here again. So why does it matter? Because this guy was also involved and helped set up the Give, Send, Go for Shiloh. Listen to that. The same J who's pushed by J's, who has his own Give, Send, Go psyop, just left helping Shiloh create her Give, Send, Go campaign. And here's the fucking nail on the head. Who is this cocksucker? Avi Raxlin. Do you know who this cocksucker is? I'll tell you who he is. He was at Penn State University. They made a petition to kick him out of the fucking school. Why? Why, guys? Because he was sending pornographic images to minors. He was in gamer groups where he self-confessed to jacking off in front of minors, sending them pornographic images and nudes. And you know what the best part is about this whole thing? Look, if you see right here, he advocates for rape of women. What's interesting is that they put a headline like advocates of rape of women, which catches so much attention that nobody catches the pedo shit. They bury it under the rape, obviously, right? Because rape's going to get the attention. So I've been getting shit for weeks for being, for going against this whole white power bullshit, right? Which is, these people are lemmings. They're just, they're too barbaric in their thinking to make any play that matters. They're too stupid. They're reactionary. Oh, she's white. She said the word N. She's my queen. They don't think beyond anything substantial. So let me recap all that. The first fucking thing I said about this whole shit show of Give Us and Go is all of these situations are orbiting with J's and or pedals. And I've showed you that every single one, from Carmelo Anthony to Shiloh to Portnoy Khan and to the swift driving Avi Raxlin, have nothing but grifters, J's, and pedals hovering around. Whether they're the guys taking the video, the guys pushing the narrative, the guys pushing the anti-narrative, the guys pushing the grift, the guys pushing the docs. They're all of the same garbage, guys. And if that's not enough, the Shiloh, our white pagan queen who hates black dudes. Well, does somebody who hates black dudes comment something like, he'd be cuter if he wasn't tainted, to somebody who's obviously mixed race? Guys, she's not your racist and white Hitler-esque queen. Pagan bullshit with her Freya amulet here. She's playing you, all of you. It's all a shit show. It's all bullshit, guys. And here's an image of that, what the fuck's her name? Hold on. Anglo-Saxon girl. Talking shit about white guys. Just nonstop talking shit about white guys. And especially ones that take action against the government. Sounds like a fucking Fed to me. So again, everybody involved is either Fed, J, pedal, or are completely not, or are not anything like you believe them to be. Shiloh is not some white nationalist warrior queen fighting for the rights of anything, guys. Okay? This whole thing is bullshit. And I've been sick and tired of holding it in for like 2 weeks, listening to all kinds of shit from all kinds of lemmings. So, hopefully this will, show you something, guys. I don't know, man. It's hard to put this all together, right? Like, see, I was hitting this from the get-go, guys. These guys are all, see, I put the connection right away. This is Anglo-Saxon. That's Shiloh with that stupid note. Here's Khan and here's Anthony. Look at these people. Look at the eyes. Like, just look. These are all, I don't know what's going on here, but I can tell you that it's a big Palestinian bullshit. That I could tell you for certain. And I put it in other terms for people to understand, because I'm trying to reason with people, right? Like, imagine you're watching a show on TV, a struggling single mother trying to raise her kids. She's in the park, the sun's out, there's laughter in the air, and then chaos. A young black immigrant kid tries to snatch her purse. She fights, she screams, a racial slur flies out of her mouth in a moment. And then just by chance, someone was there to film it. The video explodes, the internet erupts. And then a give, send, go appears. Donations pour in. Support our hero becomes the rally cry of whites around the world. But then the scene shifts. Imagine you're watching this on Netflix and a detective walks in and he starts piecing things together. He's like, something doesn't add up, man. How come the guy who filmed her is a pedophile? How come the accounts that seeded the viral story are predators? And how come the person that doxed her personal information also falls into the same categories? If you saw this on TV, guys, what would you think? Would you think Shiloh's just a victim, innocent, and this whole, is that what you would think? Or would you start to think, hey, the plot just fucking thickened and this whole thing is going down and it's all bad, right? People, like I said before, you watch TV, you watch Hollywood, people know it's bullshit. But when people look at the internet, when they look at social media, they don't make the same association, guys. It's all fake, guys. There's too much influence on social media. They will not allow that influence to go into the hands of wherever the fuck it may randomly land. That's not how life works. So I guess that's it for now, man. But, if you look, I'll tell you guys a little. If you're on your phone and you go to my profile, you should see like a little magnifying glass. Just click on it and write whatever the fuck you want. We'll find it. If you're on desktop, it's a little bit different. You have to write, let's say I'm going to look for, I don't know, let's say that con asshole, right? I'll write con here. Then you got to go advanced search, accounts. From this account, you put mine, assuming you're looking for me, and you'll get all the information of everything I've shared to look at yourself, guys. I mean, it's all there. And it's all the same shit. It's the same people doing the same thing in the same order. Titles and Jews, seeding it. Titles and Jews, doxing it, exposing it. Then there's the noticers pushing the give, send, go. And then it's the other J's and the give, send, go grifters that perpetuate the lie to make money of it. It's all a lie. It's all bullshit. The whole thing it is what it is, guys. I'm sorry. So yeah, I guess we'll end this one here. Hey guys, so we're back. It's funny, I just did this whole fucking episode with my mic not plugged in. How funny is that? So, all right, so let's get into it. We're going to talk about why would they wake us up, right? And again, we're going to focus on the programming aspect of this. I'm going to follow up with a other episode going into the more occult, ritualistic aspects of all this, right? But let's see how it goes. So I just want to start off and say they never woke you up. They baited you with fruit, no less. Who was the first figure in history to open our eyes, to expand our mind, to give us our consciousness and our first collective red pill? That little Promethean archetype in the garden, the serpent, the light bringer, the one who promised you'd be like gods. The original mystery school initiation is what that is. He didn't shove fruit down our throat. He let us choose it, just like they let us scroll, dig, and research our way into our mind prison. If there's one thing I want you to remember here, it's this. The serpent deceived Eve without lying to her. Now, regardless of what you believe of the Bible or of the serpent, meaning if you believe the Bible is God's word or a playbook, it shouldn't change anything. And second, whether you believe the serpent is a grand deceiver or if you believe a more Gnostic approach that the story is inverted, is not relevant for this thought experiment, right? The point is that Eve was deceived into either doing the right thing or not by the serpent, but without a single lie. That's the key to take away from this when it comes to programming. You think they're waking you up, but you're really just volunteering for trauma-based initiation. You go down the rabbit hole, you learn about adrenochrome, child trafficking, ritual abuse, the occult networks, mass manipulation. It crushes your soul. And tell me, how exactly has learning about these things improved your life? Does it make you feel empowered, or does it just fill you with despair? The deeper you go, the darker it gets, until there's only one emotion left. At some point, you're hopeless. And that hopelessness is the setup. It's the primer. It's the soft clay for the mold, the next mold, right? Enter the savior. That's always the next step to all of this process. When you're drowning in darkness, you crave light. And then right on cue, they send you your heroes. Could be Trump, could be Musk, RFK, some wild card, some outsider, the chosen one, the underdog. The world's collapsing, but hey, don't worry. He's got a golden tie and a promise. He's not like the other ones. Believe me, right? That's the script. That's the psyop. They expose the evil, crush your soul with the weight of it, and then offer you the antidote. A synthetic messiah that's wearing the mask of resistance for us to rally behind, right? And, psyops, on a side note here, people think that most psyops target normies, but I don't look at it that way. Normies are lost, guys. It's not going to happen. They haven't woken up. And if we're waiting for the last normie to wake up, for us to fix this world, we're fucked, guys. These guys are not waking up. They're lost. It's over for normies. They're targeting us critical thinkers and waking us up in a designed fashion. And what's quote unquote funny is that then we are taking this initiation and we're making it our life's mission to pass it down and initiate the normies. We're taking the occult concepts from the darkness, and we ourselves, thinking we're doing God's work, are externalizing that hierarchy into the mainstream by inducting and initiating the masses. We are basically reverends for the devil by being truthers, as fucked as that sounds, right? So, how's one way they do this? Well, it's the Luciferian hero's journey, right? Every modern narrative, blockbuster movie, story, book, comic, prophecy, revolution follows certain templates, right? The world's enslaved by a great evil. A rebel rises. A rebel that's rejected by both sides. He alone can wield the light and the dark. He merges them. He synthesizes them and transcends duality. He destroys the old system, becomes the new God, and creates a everlasting utopia. Does this sound, these stories, when I say that, what comes to mind? Neo, Luke, Frodo. Some could even say Trump, right? But this isn't prophecy. It's predictive programming. And I'll explain to you through The Matrix how this is done, because it's a movie that most people remember more or less, right? Obviously. So in The Matrix, there's a lot of programming. I mean, we all know that as truthers. For example, on his driver's license, it's Thomas Anderson. Thomas is the name of the twin, Thomas the twin. And the date on the driver's license is September 11, 2001. Like, what are the odds there's twin programming for September 11, 2001. The odds of that are astronomical. But the programming goes much deeper than that. There's Neo, and here's another side little thing, right? The heroes, I learned about most of this concept, how it works with archetypes, by reading Joseph Campbell's Hero with 1,000 Faces. It's a good book, by the way. So in the Matrix, they have the architect, who represents justice and order. And then we have Miss Cleo, right? The Oracle, who's helping Neo, which represents good in the movie, which represents chaos, which represents rebellion, which represents the light bearer, giving Neo the gnosis. Do you understand what I just said? The architect represents justice and order, which is what God represents. And he's a fucking asshole in the movie. Yet Lucifer, the Oracle, is a protagonist, is helping Neo. This is how they pervert the story. And this is pervasive through any movie that you see. The hero and the good guys are always representative of the fallen or Lucifer. Always the case. They are programming your mind to welcome, accept, and endorse a perverted version of a savior. And this goes throughout all of our social, cultural entertainment. It's pervasive through all of it. It's a subconscious mind fuck that they're doing, right? So predictive programming, duality, right? There's always, here's another, I'll explain it in another way, right? In most, you see a sci-fi movie, like a wizard type movie, the main character tends to be some kind of blasphemic birth, right? It's always like some set demigod or some kind of weird, the story behind their birth always, is always kind of like a giant, like a Nephilim, which is interesting as well. So duality, light and dark, good and evil, order and chaos. They pervert what's what within the movies. Just like I said with the architect and Miss Cleo. They told you they're opposite sides of a war. But what if they're two hands of the same beast? What if these represent polar opposites in the sense of Boaz and Jachin, the two pillars of masonry and of most secret societies? The great work of Aleister Crowley is the synthesis of opposing forces. They believe that we are living in a prison planet and that the merging of polar opposites, kind of like why they're trying to make men and women into an androgynous being. They're trying to merge polar opposites into one because they believe that the two pillars, once merged, will form an arch, which will open a doorway and a portal to godhood. This is their religion. This is how they view things. This is why they're trying to merge everything together. But is this duality real? Is light the opposite of dark? Is good the opposite of evil? And what is this good they're talking about? I completely disagree with this concept. For me, light is not the opposite of darkness, but the absence of darkness. Good is not the opposite of evil. Evil is the absence of good. Just like you don't need a lie to be able to speak the truth, but in order to lie, there must be a truth to pervert. They are not symbiotic. One does not need the other to exist, but the counterfeit does require the authentic to pervert. You understand what I'm telling you? Now, if we're going to push a little bit further, by the way, this is a really funny meme. I think this really well represents what's going on in the world. You know, there's a there's a beast system that's encroaching, and half the world is standing for photo ops with one asshole or another who's just as implicated in the deception as any of the other ones. Right? And why does this matter? Because they bring along this programming through two vessels: control and worship. And the question is there a difference between control and worship? If you think waking people up now is hard, just wait until the system starts collapsing under the guise of a revolution. The banksters, the merchants, the Zionist puppets, all vanquished before our eyes. The dream of every truther finally coming to fruition, miraculously and effortlessly. We've been sitting down eating popcorn for years, and all of a sudden we're going to be served the heads of our controllers on a silver platter. Maybe, just maybe, that's a deal that's too good to be true. Here's the catch. It's not a godsend. It's not a revolution. It's the beast system raising itself up, devouring the harlot, and positioning itself as the savior of mankind. Always think, what does the devil want? The devil wants to be God. Crucial to understand that. You think the puppet masters won't toss in their own pawns into the fire, ball style, the same way they did their own fucking children? You think the soulless wouldn't gladly march into their own destruction for the glory of their master? They've already sacrificed themselves, their souls, and their children to the cause. They have no problem going down to solidify the deception. People think, why would they do that? I wouldn't do that. These people are nothing the fuck like you. They do not think like you at all. And to give you one example would be ritual death. For them, it's abhorrent to die on God's timeline. To them, they're going to die on their own terms, on their own timeline. And why not deceive half the planet while doing so? Betrayal won't come from, the betrayal won't come with shackles. It's going to come with our cheers, with us welcoming it. Free will always center to all of this. Betrayal. The thing about betrayal and being betrayed is that first, you need to be trusting, noticing, exposing, naming names, and holding the enemy accountable is obviously the noble way. Truth has power, and shining light on darkness has always been a righteous act. But here's the thing. The enemy knows this. They understand how you think, what stirs our hearts, and what gains our trust. So what do? They mimic the noble way. Sometimes those you believe to be the bravest accusers are just wolves in sheep's clothing. Judas wasn't just a betrayer. He was an accuser too. He walked with the righteous, sat at their table, and spoke the truth into the moment it mattered most. And then what did he do? He delivered his betrayal with a kiss. The playbook has not changed. Controlled opposition mirrors the real thing, the noble thing, the good thing to deceive you. They'll name names, expose what they're told to expose, and play to your anger to earn your loyalty. Right before steering you off the cliff, and sometimes with them as well. So when someone's preaching to you about truth, don't just listen to their words. Watch their fruits and identify their intentions. Intentions are the most important thing, whether it's in magic or it's in reality. I take the approach that we're likely all wrong. Having said that, our intentions are the only thing that separate us from these fuckers. So, then who do they endorse and why? And what topics do they avoid? These are also central to understanding who's programming you into this beast system. If we're going to move a little bit further on this conversation, I want to make something perfectly clear, right? I don't care if you're MAGA, liberal, if you think politics is complete bullshit, the earth is flat, it's a globe, if you're Christian, atheist, whatever rabbit hole you sleep in, I don't care. I care about your intentions. Because I've seen trash human beings on every side of the so-called truth war. Some of the most evil snakes wrap themselves in scripture. Some of the most blind fools scream freedom while building the very system that's enslaving us. MAGA comes to mind, right? Polarity means nothing if the core is still rotten. The truth is we're probably all wrong, like I said. And not just a little, but a fuck ton. None of us are above deception. And if you think you know it all, you know dick fuck all about anything. We've all swallowed psyops. We've all fought for the wrong side at some point or another. Many of us probably still are. So what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Wasting time arguing whether the earth curves or Trump's a fucking Jesus or godsend. That's the beast system's bait, guys. The division is the ritual. I'm not here to fight your beliefs. I'm here to fight the machine that feeds off of the fight. Intent is everything. Pride is the poison, and unity without delusion is what our controllers fear the most. Stop playing the game. Stop fracturing over breadcrumbs and start aiming higher. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you think the Bible is God's word or if it's a playbook. It's a meaningless conversation for me and you to have to divide ourselves. It's being used to control and direct our social cultural vector through these psyops, regardless of what you think of all that, right? And before I go, I just want to touch, like I said, I know this is all, it'll all congeal a little bit better in your mind when I come up with the second episode, which will go into the occult, Aquarian New Age genesis of the Great Awakening and how the occult merges with these top-level psyops to build the programming in our collective minds. So, that's what's going on another level, but I just want to end on another note. I was talking about duality and why I believe that these things are not true, or at least not in the way that they explain it to us. All of these secret societies, when you look at whatever, let's say a painting, when you walk into even a church or a Masonic temple, you'll see the first thing on top of whatever painting will be a light. Fiat lux, let there be light. What they've done is they believe, as I said, Aleister Crowley, the great work is to merge polar opposites, creating the doorway arch to godhood. But what is this light that they keep talking about, right? They're talking, God said, let there be light. And this is the light that they take to oppose the darkness. However, this light is a creation. It is not the true light of God. The Bible says that God is the true light and there is no darkness in him. So what is this light that they are talking about that opposes darkness? It's a synthetic creation light. They are manipulating us, programming us to welcome a created light, a Luciferian light, as the all true light of God. So I hope this has helped. If not, it just buried your hope a little bit deeper, but don't worry, I'll pull you right out when the time is right. The next episode, I'm going to go over, I'm not going to go into the Great Awakening just yet. I need to break your minds a little bit more before I do that. And I'm going to do that by talking about the red heifer and how that whole thing is a big, giant ball of bullshit. So I hope this was helpful. And yeah, I don't like saying sub, subscribe, comment, like. All these fuckers say it every 2 seconds in the videos. But if you're still here after half an hour, fuck you. Sub, comment, and like. I'll catch you guys later.